Guy Saunders, and this is The Brave Narrative. We've been talking about introverts and extroverts in the workplace, and in my previous video I spoke about the thing that introverts are wildly misrepresented and misunderstood in business. So what I want to speak about here is how extroverts can learn from the things that come so easily to introverts. So the first thing extroverts can do is that they can start to learn to be alone. Because it's when you're alone that you start to identify who you are as an individual. And the more self-awareness you have as an individual, the more you're able to manage yourself, to progress, to focus on the things that matter to you. And the more you understand yourself, the more you're going to achieve what's important to you. And so extroverts need to spend time alone and need to learn how to be comfortable with that. The next thing they need to do is learn how to do deep thinking and consideration. In our previous video, again, I spoke about my relationship with Steve Gardner and how he pushed me to be this deep thinker when in times where I wanted to rush ahead, as so often the extrovert wants to. And so we as extroverts need to be considerate and need to work hard, and it'll be exhausting work to do, but work hard at becoming deep thinkers and becoming considerate individuals instead of just actioning things off the fly. The next thing we need to be very aware of as extroverts is that we need to be very, very careful that we're not bulldozing people in our organization. Introverts are so good at being able to see the landscape and being able to hold back, almost to a fault, being able to hold back things that don't need to be said and don't need to be done because they've been said or done by others. Extroverts, on the other hand, get a passion for something and they bulldoze their way into a situation. And in those cases, we need to be careful because bulldozing people into something doesn't mean that they're on board with your project, and usually means that they're going to fall by the wayside. So beware of that bulldozing effect. It might look like great leadership, but very often the long-term effect of that isn't going to give you what you're looking for. And then finally, something that extroverts are not good at is planning ahead. Planning for the meeting that's coming up, planning for the workshop that's happening, etc. Because as extroverts, we are so good in the room. We're good at just taking the flight, creating the conversation. But it's that creates long, exhausted meetings that talk about nothing, that drain the life out of introverted people. Because we've gone off on a tangent, we're no longer talking about what's important because we never planned it the way we should.